Alright, Southbound Pachyderm. So in this video, I'm going to be sticking to the album punch bowl version of the track, discussing differences with how it's typically played live where appropriate. Alright, so the intro, it's going to go something like this. So we're going to start at D7 here, and then do 2 open A's after that. So in this video, when I say A's, or like 2 A's or something like that, I'm referring to the open A string. I'm worried that D7 is the note A as well, but in this video I'm going to call that D7 or just 7. And then we're going to take it up here to 9, and then 1 A, and then 10. And then when you play 10, hold that down, you know, let it ring, sustain it, as you keep going with the A's afterward. So like, so not that this is super important or anything, but the way I usually see him do this, like in live performances, is like index on 7, and then when going up to 9, sliding the index up to 9. I mean, you could use your whole hand to do it, excluding your middle finger, like. So in this video, I'm going to refer to that as phrase A. That's going to be phrase A. So this song is like open A, and then fretting notes on the D and G string to play phrases, more so on the D string. So when you're playing the song, and you're plucking the strings kind of back and forth, try to keep those plucks isolated, for lack of a better word, but what I sort of mean is, like, when you pluck the D string, don't have your finger resting on the string up after that. Like, don't have it touching the A string after you play the D string, because that would kill the A string droning that goes on. Because a part of the way this song sounds is the notes like ring out, they're sustained, uninterrupted. Okay, and now I'm going to spend a bit of time discussing the drone in this song. So the drone in this song is like... So in this video, I'm going to refer to as a triplet. Now on ultimateguitar.com, the highest rated bass tab of this song, in the comments of that tab, someone was like, the tabber should get points deducted for calling it a triplet. It's not a triplet, it's like something something, and that comment had some likes to it. Now I could be wrong about this, I'm not the best with music theory, but based off my understanding of what a triplet is, what's going on in this song is in fact a triplet. A triplet is whenever 3 notes takes the place of 2 notes. So instead of like note, note, it's like note, note, note. For example, let's say we have 8 notes. To throw in a triplet on the 5th and 6th notes would be like this. With note 5 being the note I play with my ring finger, and note 6 being the one I play with my index. And that is the drone of this song. So that played one time. is going to make up one bar of the song. And so this drone should be played somewhat softly. You don't want the following happening. So what can make playing this intro a bit tricky is after you play the phrases, so like after, and even after like, I'm going to consider those to be phrases. After you play those, where the first triplet it comes in, you know, when you resume the drone, where the first triplet comes in is going to vary because the lengths of the phrases vary. So another question here is, when do the phrases come in? So the phrases are always going to come in on the beginning of a bar. That is to say, after triplet note note. So after. So to demonstrate that a little bit. So for phrase A here, after the 10, we're going to finish off the bar by playing 2 A notes after the 10 before restarting the drone. Okay, so after phrase A, we're going to play the drone 7 times before phrase B comes in. So that's going to start just like phrase A. So after you hit the 10, do 2 open A's. Then hit a 9 and start sliding down to 5. As you're doing that, hit an open A and then hit the 5. So far. And then hit open A, 7. Hold the 7 down. Just like, you know, at the end of phrase A, like hold 10 down. So that's punch bowl anyway, but live it's not quite like that. It's not like 5, A, 7. It's like 5, A, 5 hammer on 7. So after you hit the 7, play 3 open A's to finish off the bar before restarting the drone. So play the drone 3 times before phrase A again, and then after phrase A, the drone is played 3 times before the. So this chord is D15, G19. Lightly pluck that. Well, maybe not that light, but not like either. You know, that's too much. So that chord is going to serve as the first note of the bar. So after that, 3 notes before the triplet. So later in the song, that chord pluck is going to be right as he says, okay, and so the next phrase. So we're going to be fretting this chord shape at G16, D17. So we're going to pluck G, D, open A, let open A ring, and then pluck the D string and slide up to 19. So. And then 8 open A notes before the quick strumming part. So that's slowed down. So we're going to be fretting this power chord shape at D12, G14. I like to use my middle finger to mute the A string just because the strumming here is kind of fast and aggressive, you know. Don't want to be hitting other strings there. Strum down. up, slide up a fret, and strum down and up again. And then we're going to strum down, still at 13-15. Move up a fret and strum down again. So on punch bowl, that last chord strum, it's kind of just like that. It just kind of stays there. However, live, that last chord strum, whoops, like slide down after that. So next, we're going to play the drone 2 times before phrase A comes in again, and then the drone 3 times after phrase A, and this is, you know, when there's the, and then phrase B. But after phrase B, the drone is going to be a little different. It's going to go like more like this. And then the chord pluck. And then the next part, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be more like, so that's going to start same way as before. But then you're going to play 2 open A's, and then hit G20. So I think on the record it's just G20 for the last note. However, I think live it's both that and D19 played at the same time. So, and then we have you know, the airplane whoosh noise and the big old herb fill, and then the rest of the band joins in. So on punch bowl during the big drum fill, I don't hear any of the bass guitar. I think it's, you know, I don't hear the open A's continuing during that. But live, I kind of do. He might be keeping that going during the drum fill. Possibly. Maybe. So the rest of the band joins in, and it's basically just, you know, the intro part again. However, this time, the triplet in the drone shows up a little less. It's not in there quite as often. And before the first verse riff comes in, which is a different riff, the open A's is just like, with one triplet thrown in just before, well, not just before, but triplet note before the first verse riff comes in. So once the first verse riff comes in, from this point on, for the rest of the track, the drone is just, the majority of the drone is just with just a handful of triplets thrown in there, which I will try to make note of. Alright, so the verse riff is like, okay, 10, 2 A's, 9, 2 A's, 7, 1 A. And then 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 3 A's. So that 2 times before. So that's going to be 10, 2 A's, 9, 2 A's, 10, 1 A. This song kind of reminds me of a Tool. I guess that shouldn't be super surprising because the song's in A minor, and a lot of Tool uses the A minor scale somewhat frequently. Let's see, like Schism, The Patient, 10,000 Days, I think all use A minor. Anyway. And then you're going to repeat that little, you know, pattern that's been happening so far at 12 and 10. 12 slide to 14, hold 14. So of course he plays this as he's, you know, singing the words to the verses. There's one time in this song when the verse riff is not going to be played this way, and it's when he's singing seldom a breeder of lies. So during that, it's going to go, instead of like this, it's going to go like 5, 7, 7, 2 A's, 7, 2 A's. So we got a triplet right after the very first of the song, and then after that triplet is the quite a surprise, and then the fast strumming part, and then a triplet immediately after the fast strumming part, and then the lyrics come in. What an ingenious device. So on the second of the song, triplet right after that, just before the they take to the skies, and the triplet is going to show up in the choruses of this track a bit more prominently than before, not quite as softly played as before. I'll just throw those on the screen. So around 4 minutes 30 seconds, we're going to start doing this kind of staccato tapping thing on D7. So, you know, fast strumming part, and 4 open A's, and then 8 taps at D7 here. So around the 5-minute mark, we have this fill here. So 7, A, 5, then 5 hammer on 7, which is then followed by this fill here. So 5 hammer on 7, 7, 5 hammer on 7. Okay, so when the final chorus kicks in, we're going to start doing this thing here. That's 3 quick 5 to 7 hammer-ons. With greater context, that's like this. So, quick strumming part, 4 A's, and then 3 A's after that before, you know, restarting. So at 5 minutes, 14 seconds, instead of that, we're going to do this instead. So that's 10, 10, 9, 7. And then the two are going to start kind of switching back and forth. So that's going to go kind of like this. So during the at that part, there's a strange kind of weird bass fill that goes on. It's hard to make out what's going on. It's not super audible, but my best guess at what it is this. So that's like A9, A10, A. I mean, you know, it goes back and forth between the A and D string, so just open A alternating here. And then 9, 7, and then 5 3 times, and then 5, 7. So yeah, then we're going to go into this So, you know, 7, let ring. And then when you throw the 5 in there, that's going to be 3 notes after, so like a 7, A, 5. And then at 5 minutes, 40 seconds, we have this fill here. So, 7, 2 A's, 5, 2 A's, 7, 1 A. And the same thing at 10, 9, and then 7. And then at 5 minutes, 55 seconds, we have this fill here. So 7, 2 A's, 10, 2 A's, 9, 1 A, 7. So the is pretty much just going to continue. It's going to repeat until the end of the track. You know, it's going to fade out on that riff. So yeah, that's about it. Southbound Pachyderm.